Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to approve and review improved minutes. Has everybody read the minutes for April 19th, 2022?
Do you need a motion?
Please.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the minutes for April 19th, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item on the agenda is signed bills. Do we have any bills?
Yeah, we're on bill tonight from Ecotech for $1,900. It was for the peer review for the ANRAD for 3369 Green Street.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, moving on to meetings and hearings. First meeting is a continued public hearing regarding a notice of intent filed by Lisa and Stephen Turnboom, 199 Gulf Street, Shrewsbury, for the construction of a single-family home, septic and stormwater systems at 195 Gulf Street. Is there anybody here? Okay, we'll just hold that
Just
till
hold,
later.
yeah, could be sitting in traffic.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is a continued public hearing regarding the abbreviated notice of resource area delineation filed by Essex Pateri of 115 Flanders Road, 200, number 200, Westboro, Mass, for the delineation of bordering vegetated wetland and inland banks of an intermittent stream at 3369 Green Street. Yes.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm not sure if we don't know if Meredith is on or not, but, so we were here.
And you are?
Sorry, excuse me, Essex Petrie, Pulte Homes. Thank you. And we presented a few meetings ago, and the board requested a peer review. Arthur Allen from Ecotech met Meredith Bernstein, our wetland scientist, out on site a couple weeks ago, and they conducted their peer review. We adjusted our ANRAD plan accordingly, and Arthur submitted a letter after reviewing the plan confirming that he was in agreement with the adjustments that were made based on their field site visit. So we're here looking to finalize that, and I believe one of the final items that we needed to wrap up was a DEP number, and I believe that came today.
Yeah, so they have been awarded the DEP file number 285-1985.
Yep, 285, 1985.
You know what flags were changed?
There were a series
Show
of
'em the
them.
plan.
They're on the plan?
The flags that were changed were grayed out, made a little bit more transparent at the request of Arthur. And if you have a copy of his letter, the last paragraph of the back page of his letter does call out specifically the flags that were moved.
Okay.
Okay. Is that the new one?
And this is for the entire parcel, correct?
So the ANRAD was to certify the wetland boundaries that were closest or adjacent to the where the project was being constructed. So eventually, we probably will come back to delineate the other side of the property if and when construction happens on that side. But for what we're doing for the project moving forward, it's only relevant for those pieces. But the boundary that's relevant to that project was flagged.
And so this will be its own separate own order for this piece, and then you'd come in for another order on the other section?
Correct.
Okay. Martha, do you have any questions?
I'm not sure we've seen the letter, yeah?
I
recent
think
one?
I forgot to pop it in the
Okay.
shared
So I don't have any questions at this point, thank you.
Jason?
No questions.
Chris?
None. No questions.
Diane?
if I'm looking at this map correctly, it looks like it begins at a height of like 510 and drops down towards the wetlands 100 feet to 410. Is that right?
I don't have the plan right in front of me, but there is a lot
Yeah.
of topography on the site, so
So it's pretty steep right there.
there is a decent drop off on the site, yes.
So, I'm wondering how much paving are you intending to put in? Pavement or impervious
So
surface?
when we are actually our next step will be to file our notice of intent, and as part of that process, we'll have the site plan that will be associated with the project that we'll be proposing.
Okay.
We actually just filed yesterday with ZBA, so next step will be to move forward with the NOI and present the specific project to you as proposed.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay. Anything else? Staff?
No, I mean, once Ecotech signed off on it, so.
Okay, you all set?
Yep, and the plans that have been revised to reflect their comments.
Okay. All right, I guess we'll close the hearing. We're all set.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's a request for a request for continuance for 170 Hartford Turnpike, as well as 36 Sewell Street, Lot 1.
Okay. So that's a lot. 170 is continued, you decided, okay.
Yes.
All right. Is there anyone here for 195 Gulf Street? No? Okay. So that's continued. All right, so on to our next hearing is a continued public hearing regarding notice intent filed by Capstone Realty Trust, 69 Park Ave, Worcester, for the construction of a single-family home and driveway at 36 Sewell Street, Lot 2, 3, and 4.
Hi, Mr. Chairman. James Tatro from Azimuth Land Design, representing Capstone Realty Trust. And again, these are 3 lots on a common drive off of the east side of Sewell Street, just north of the intersection with Gulf. And we had gotten to a certain point with the commission in review, and Mr. Truman wanted us to have been before the planning board on the common driveway request. Only we had 2 mishaps, one of which was mine. I did not send in the notification to the request to have the legal ad run in the Community Advocate in time for the October meeting, and then through mysterious circumstances, the Community Advocate, even though we sent in the notice requesting them to run in the November meeting, before the November meeting, it did not. So we were delayed in that respect. Subsequently, we had review by the peer reviewer for the planning board, Graves Engineering. And we made a couple small changes to the plan pursuant to their review, and I'll just point those out to you. A couple of them were very small, was labeling the width of the common driveway. We showed all the proposed grades on the driveways as just straight lines across, and it was pointed out, well, the driveway's gonna have some crown, you shouldn't show them as straight lines across. Correct. The other thing he pointed out is we had, in a couple respects, the infiltration area that we showed here, which is, all of this driveway is to hit a low point here. So there'll be a catch basin with a CDS catch basin, I'll put it that way, which is gonna discharge all of what's collected on the driveway to an infiltration structure here. And the peer reviewer pointed out, well, that doesn't meet specs as far as proximity in a couple different ways. So we actually moved it to the north side of the driveway onto Lot 4 and created easement around that. And again, we did an extra deep hole test in exactly that location, which still showed the incredible, fantastic soil from the engineer's perspective, very coarse grained soil, extremely gravelly in that location, as was found elsewhere on site. Again, this site is going to have septic systems. So the most significant change we made was to move this infiltration area here to the north side of the driveway to meet setbacks in various ways to wetlands and to septic system. And the reviewer, peer reviewer for the planning board said that essentially at that point he is satisfied. We asked Mr. Truman, we understand your reluctance to suggest that the Conservation Commission should go forward where there's still not any planning board review of a project. Now that we have the peer reviewer suggesting he's satisfied, do you think that's acceptable at this point then for the commission to rule? And I think he said it may be acceptable. Am I fairly characterizing your?
So, yeah, I mean, basically, obviously, at this point, we're pretty much set unless the commissioners had any questions. But obviously, if we close the hearing and planning board comes back with changes to the plans, then they basically reopen the public hearing, we notify the abutters.
We understand that
So-
that we would have to come back if there's any significant change at all from the planning board. We think we won't have that, given that we've satisfied their peer reviewer.
So the other suggestion was just to keep it open administratively until planning boards maybe had a first flush at it, and if there's no issues, then there's no need for James to come, we just close it and issue the order conditions, but it's. And then obviously the other point is we still need addresses, they still need to do the ANRAD.
Yeah.
So we don't have addresses for these parcels yet. So
Did you get I actually have a copy here, the A&R plan submitted to you today?
No, you submitted it today now, I'm gonna get it today, so
Oh,
I'll probably get it tomorrow.
geez, okay, sorry. Got anyways, draft version without the surveyor's stamp on it.
Okay.
Sorry. So,
Is that it?
if there's any questions, I'll try and answer either from board or commission or audience.
Martha?
James, would you please translate CDS as it refers
Oh.
to catch basin?
It's just a catch basin that has the sort of swirl chamber to remove total suspended solids. It's not just a catch basin with the, just a pipe out. And the company one of the companies that makes these is Contech, or their version of the stormwater filtration units is called CDS. So I was referring to that, CDS. It's really sort of a brand name, so I shouldn't refer to it.
Thank you. I have a follow-up question to that. I'm curious about the connection between the catch basin and the wetlands, since you've moved it up to the other side of the road. Is it just going to be a pipe to the wetland, or what would that look like?
It's gonna be nothing, because this soil is so fantastic. And it was the same thing as we said in this when they had the infiltration in this location. Again, what we're essentially doing is from catch basin with a filtration unit in it, that's here, instead of discharging to infiltration here, it's gonna discharge to infiltration, again, over, I'm doing a terrible job of drawing it, but over here, north of the driveway. And that infiltration area is sized so that it doesn't have to have an outlet pipe at all, even in the 100-year storm. There are gonna be 3 large 8 by 8 foot by 8 foot square, and I forget exactly the depth of these, maybe they're 4 feet deep, units, sort of L-shaped if you look down on it, with stone underneath it, stone all around it. And because this soil is actually a sand texture soil and you get 8.27 inches per hour as your infiltration rate, we can have all of the water go into the ground there without having a specific discharge pipe out to the wetland. Now, we assume that some of that water will go down, and maybe there'll be some joining with the groundwater table, because it's still at 50 feet away, not far away from that wetland, and maybe it'll have some positive influence. But again, we had to move to achieve the setbacks for the peer review.
Okay, thank you. I'm all set.
Okay, Jason.
All set.
Just a question, on these plans that I'm looking at, it shows the infiltrators on the Lot 2 side. Are these the correct plans?
The correct plans are dated October 10th.
I
Okay, so these-
don't know if we got paper copies of the
Oh.
corrected or the updated plans,
I've got
so.
a 11
Single
by,
baby
just
one?
about 11 by 17 copy. with me.
So these plans are not updated.
But that's not the up-to-date one. There's a revision date of
Yeah.
October 10th.
Okay.
The infiltrator units receiving roof runoffs are all in the same place.
Right, but so this is what you're talking about.
This-
It's over here now.
Yep.
And you have a plan that engineering has, a copy of this?
Yes. And see, here it is now on the north side of the driveway.
Okay.
Again, just to achieve the offset from wetland that would prepare.
So these were submitted and you guys were able to see them? Okay.
I don't
We-
think we have, no,
You have not seen those?
no.
Okay. Because that was on Google
Yeah, unless you
Drive.
have-
Just me and Louise got them. You had submitted the revised ones for,
Okay, I guess I would have thought it was.
I'm looking.
Because I know you came up to me and I said, therefore you were submitting for planning board, so you went downstairs, so. I was just checking the emails, I don't think you got the electronic copies either.
I thought I got. Go.
Is that the new one?
No, this is the original.
Okay.
Yeah, I have the first revision, from 7/10. But that's hardly the newest revision.
I'm sorry, I thought I sent them to you and to Andy, went at the same time as I sent them to whoever was reviewing for grade, Jeff Walsh.
Yeah, no.
Okay. All right, Chris,
No questions.
Andy, and Aaliyah?
Well, I guess we probably should see the new plan, so I don't know.
Yeah, so,
We might want
Yeah,
to
we
consider
do right now.
Diane?
So I just want to make sure that I'm reading it correctly. I'm just seeing it so recently. Is this common driveway, how wide is it?
It's, the pavement is 18 feet wide, where all three lots are part of it. In fact, it's 18 feet wide beyond that until the driveway for Lot 4 branches off from it.
Okay,
While there are two of them there, this is 18 feet wide, then it goes, each of these is 12, this is 12.
okay.
Um,
It's
That
just,
is the town.
looks strange here, because it looks like it was like 60 feet, but I'm sure that that's not true.
No.
Okay.
And that's the town standard in their zoning bylaw for a common driveway.
Has the fire department reviewed it? Because I think 20 feet is the minimum for fire code.
I don't know
Okay.
what's happened as far as the fire department.
Anybody in the audience have any questions? So there are none, but I think there are still some things missing, and you have to still go to the planning board, right? So
Yep, we do.
why don't you get us the set of plans so that we have them in-house?
Okay.
Then, I mean, probably nothing's going to change, but at least we'll have the right set of plans, and everybody can look at them and
Sure.
move on, so.
Sure, and I'll send over a set of emails. I apologize, I thought,
Yeah,
other
I
folks
don't
besides you,
know.
Jeff Walsh.
Check, yeah.
I-
Check mine, I
Maybe
didn't
my
see it.
mistake. Okay,
We've had so many projects going back and forth. All of our emails are
And-
wild. Okay.
And Lot 1 was not included in this, correct? So this is
Correct.
continued. So you're doing something else with Lot 1?
I think Lot 1 is actually going to be, a different party is going to be taking over that. And so that is kind of on hold.
Okay.
All right, so you're going to ask for a continuance?
I guess I will. Please continue these hearings, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Prior to next meeting, if you could drop off 4 full-size copies of the most up-to-date plans, and then 4 full-size copies of the A and Rs as well, just so that they have an idea of what they're looking at with our new addresses. Those with the correct address.
all right. We will continue these. Our next meeting, December 19th. All right, next item on the agenda is a continued public hearing for the notice of intent filed by Whitney Home Builders, 118 Turnpike Road, 200 Southborough, Mass, for the construction of a single-family home associated parking, drainage, and stormwater utilities at 276 Green.
Again, Mr. Chairman, James Tatro from Azimuth Land Design, here representing Whitney Street Home Builders for proposed construction at 276 Green Street. And at the time of we were last before you, I think there were sort of two outstanding items, one of which was that we had not received a file number. DEP got back to us, asked for some additional materials in order to issue the file number. They wanted to see a stormwater report checklist, which we gave them. They wanted us to file send in a copy of the deep observation hole log for the area near the proposed infiltration, which we sent in. Gosh, there was one other item. Oh, and they eventually asked us to make a change. There was a sort of a typo in that stormwater report checklist that was sent. DEP did issue the file number. And the other item that was outstanding was that because we were asking to accept the delineation shown on the plans, which was piggybacking on 270 Green Street's use of this from a older version. Anyway, Mr. Truman and the commission said that should be reviewed by Ecotech on behalf of the town to see if there were any disagreements with the delineation shown. I think the guys from Ecotech went out there and had no problem with the delineation, but they found that the work for 270 in connecting water and sewer in that easement had left some areas bare and got eroded. I know they were out there, I think at the end of today, finally putting some stump grindings down on that. The intention is to have that over the winter and loam and reseed it in springtime. It's just probably too late to get any permanent grass stabilization at this point. So those were I think the couple items that were out there. I don't know that there was any, I'll take any questions, but I don't know if there was any specific issue or controversy in regard to any other part of this, but I'll take any questions.
Okay, Martha,
I don't have any, thank you.
Jason,
No questions.
Chris,
None.
Diane, staff?
I mean, we just got the updated documents today, so we'd like an opportunity to review, look at them.
You like to look at them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, James, we need a little bit of time to review the documents that were submitted today.
Okay. Do you want to ask the audience if they have any?
I do. Anybody have any
I don't know if
questions
there's
in the
anybody
audience?
excited about this, but just in case.
Anybody? Final chance. Okay. James?
Okay, so I guess the suggestion is I should probably ask for a continuance of this. I will, Mr. Chairman, request that you please continue this to your next hearing.
Okay, this will be continued to December 19th.
Thank you very much.
We have also had a continuance or a request for continuance for the next hearing for 369 Holden Street.
Continue.
Yes.
All right.
So I missed that, or is Holden continued?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so are you ready for the new public hearing?
We are ready.
Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, and Article 29 of the Shrewsbury General Bylaws, that Michael Connors, 779 Hartford Turnpike, Shrewsbury, Mass., has filed a notice of intent for the construction of an addition off of an existing showroom at 779 Hartford Turnpike.
He has updated plans for
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
asking great questions.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Did you submit the green cards for this project? The green cards, the mailing certifications? Awesome. Okay, if you could get them to me, thank you. Awesome.
I also have some supplemental information, but it wasn't part of the application. But this is just kind of some renderings and summary of what we're looking to accomplish on site. That's actually review.
Thank you.
It looks like you got your DEP number.
We did, yes. It's 1983.
Great, thank you.
We actually received it yesterday, so. My name's Michael Connors. This is Joseph Cupstis. I'm the general manager of Emily's Interiors. Joe is the owner. We're here before you guys. We're proposing a fairly substantial addition to our existing showroom space. The purpose of the addition is to basically double the size of our existing showroom and then create a large warehouse space to kind of consolidate all of our operations. Currently, we're renting a large warehouse space in Northborough, and it would just be really beneficial to us to consolidate all the operations into one spot. We had a brief meeting with all the, applicable town departments. Mr. Truman was present, and the consensus from that meeting was the first step would be to come before you, the Conservation Board, to try to gain approval in what we're trying to do. We're also on the zoning, the ZBA meeting for the December meeting on that agenda. So obviously we have a couple of steps to get through, but this is the first one. We retained Ecotech's services. They created a report, which was part of the submittal. The biggest question was the stream to the right side of the plan and whether it was deemed perennial or intermittent. And it's their strong opinion that it is in fact intermittent, and the reasoning for that is detailed pretty straightforwardly in this report. So that being said, we're not proposing anything within the 30-foot no-touch zone. We've delineated the kind of the boundary of work, the limit of work area where we're planning to put the silt fence, and that does not encroach within the 30-foot no-touch buffer as well.
Okay, so, is that it? Is that all you have to say right now?
Yeah, that's
That's your report?
the proposal, and welcome any questions from the board.
Martha?
I'm still digesting, so nothing at the moment, thank you.
Okay. Jason?
Just maybe if you can help me, from the closest corner, I guess, for the proposed addition
Yes,
to the actual wetlands, is that 49 feet?
that's correct, yes.
Okay. Well, no questions other than that. I just want to make sure.
Chris?
Yeah, no questions. That's good. Appreciate the level of detail.
Thank you.
Just to get back to the intermittent stream, just so you can you explain how you determined it was intermittent,
Sure.
just for everybody here?
Generally, the go-to is to look at USGS maps first. They will map a stream, a perennial or intermittent, and that's the go-to.
So it's based on the USGS
It's based on
maps?
the USGS
Okay.
map.
That's correct.
what I was
There's a
looking
couple
at.
of, there's a couple of examples cited in this
Okay.
report that,
Yes.
I think two or three different kind
And
of,
it's on the USGS, that's...
Yes,
that's
it's
the
mapped
question.
intermittent on the USGS.
Okay.
They also ran stream stats on it, and it's less than the 0.5 square miles of flowage.
yeah, it was the .14 was the
Okay.
number. We cited the .5 as the,
Okay. Anything else from staff?
No, that was a big one. So we did have a kind of a pre-submission meeting. And
Mhm.
I remember there was a history there was a project going on next door. And as you remember, Brad was going back and forth on whether it was or was not intermittent stream, but Ecotech determined it isn't. So
Okay,
it's satisfactory.
okay. Martha, do you have anything? No?
No.
And Diane?
No.
Okay, anybody in the audience have any questions? All right, I guess we can close it then. All right, close the hearing.
Administratively, do you vote on it at the end, or is that?
Yes.
Okay.
And we'll add any special conditions that we have for it at the end, and then I'll send out the order of conditions later this week.
Sorry,
We need to get our process.
it's a dance.
With this?
Yeah.
Here's that.
Are you ready?
We are ready.
Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of general laws, chapter 131, section 40, that Dave Calhoun, Saxon Partners LLC, 25 Recreation Park Drive, Suite 204, Hingham, Mass. 02043, has filed an abbreviated notice of resource area delineation for the delineation of a perennial river and inland bank of an intermittent stream at 28 and 34 Cherry Street and 45, 47, and 60 to 63 Memorial Drive.
Perfect, thank you. Good evening, this is Andrew Tebow with Goddard Consulting. So we have an ANRAD application forward for this 4 parcels shown here on my colored up plan here. You'll see the 4 parcels are bordered by Cherry Street to the east, Boston Turnpike to the north, and Memorial Drive and Grafton Circle to the west. These 4 parcels total just under 23 acres of land. So we have an ANRAD before the commission to review all delineated resources on the property. There is a large bordering vegetated wetland system, a perennial river, and an intermittent stream on the property. I know the site plans that you guys received have a lot of lines on them from all the local bylaws and all the resource areas. So for tonight's purposes, I colored up the plan in GIS just to kind of direct our eyes to certain areas. So my goal tonight is just to introduce the commission to what's on site, to what we're requesting, and then we expect this to go up to peer review. The site's topography is such that it does yield to be a pretty good review right now, so we will be requesting a waiver to review this right now, hoping the weather sticks out for us. So yeah, to start at the northern edge of the property, you'll see that there's a pink line flowing through here of a perennial river. The topography comes very, very steep off of Boston Turnpike, and there's a culvert that outlets at the top of the property, and it delivers water all the way through the center of the parcels that we see here. A BBW system generally hugs along the river throughout its reach. You'll find in the southern portion of the property there is a hillside sea pier. This water comes down a steep topography bank right here and feeds an intermittent stream that continues to drain the properties off-site. We did not go off-site, we didn't have permission to, so we cut the river right off-site here, and we picked up back where there was some wetlands associated on the easternmost property on Cherry Street over here. Everything that you see shown in brown here is what we identified as forested uplands. So the majority of the resource areas are on the western portion of the site. So I'm here today just to introduce it to you guys. If you guys have any questions of what's out there now, and then the applicant's ready to see a quote for peer review services and to get that going.
Martha?
So that perennial stream is one of the Bummets, right?
Yes, I believe it's
Brook?
called Big Bummit.
Big Bummit, right. So that goes all the way down past Route 20, so this would almost be considered a headwaters of it. Or very close to it, all right. Can I ask what the thoughts are about the proposed development?
Yeah, I can't speak too much to that at this point. I think because of the property has so many resource areas on it, this ANRAD is almost the first step for them to kind of take a look at what's even going to be possible out here. So I think we're kind of in that planning design phase right now. So I can't speak to that yet. I think if I had to guess, I mean, the upland area so far appears to be primarily focused on Cherry Street, but I don't have any conceptual plans yet. We're trying to kind of sort out the resource areas in the property before they go too far into anything else.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all I have for now.
Jason?
No questions right now.
Chris?
No questions now.
Diane?
Not right now, no questions.
So to get back to your waiver, you're requesting a waiver to do the delineation, the peer review now, this is after November 1st.
Yes, exactly. So we're requesting a waiver for the winter delineation review.
I mean, considering the site and considering the amount of wetlands and everything that's going on here, I don't know how the board will, we'll have to talk amongst ourselves and consider that. I don't know what the board's going to do with that. But I think this should be looked at real seriously. This has been looked at before for other things a long time ago, and there were a lot of concerns, especially about that stream and the type of wetlands activity that's going on in here. I think it needs to be looked at very, very closely.
Yep, absolutely understood.
Anybody, staff?
No, I would have the same concerns, especially, you know, if we're doing an AMRAD, I think
Mm-hmm.
we might want to wait.
When was this delineated?
This was actually delineated in January and February of this year, and then we were back out in the spring to kind of take one more walk at it, make final tweaks, and then, so it was over the course of a few months, finished in the spring of this year.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure it wasn't just also in the wintertime.
Yep, now, that's exactly why we're here for the ANRAD now, just because there is a lot going on this property, so our recommendation to the applicant was just to start with an ANRAD and to see what's going on out there and allow that review to kind of happen on this lot.
So procedurally, do we have a discussion amongst?
Yeah, you would have
board
to vote to grant the waiver.
Either grant the waiver
Yep.
before we do anything else. Correct?
Correct, yeah.
Because we can't get a peer.
Well, we just have to keep continuing. If
Correct.
If you grant the waiver, then obviously we can get the peer review out. If not, we'll wait.
All right. Do we have that discussion right now, or do we?
Yeah, I think yes, yeah.
All right, so the issue is the waiver for,
Cold weather
Peer review.
delineation.
thoughts, Martha?
The ground's freezing up. It's been a cold couple of days, and we've got a little bit stretch of warmer weather, but there's no guarantee how long that will last. I think we're in for fairly normal winter this year, so that would impact wetland activity. And the ability to generate a genuine review, I think. I have a question, Ken. What is, or Alea, what is the period, the calendar period during which a waiver is not needed? It starts.
March to the end of October.
So March 1st to the end of October?
Yes.
Okay.
If we had an especially absurd year, I guess we could take it out of,
Yeah.
we could scooch it around a little bit, but.
Can
as written, it's-
may I ask the applicant a question?
Absolutely.
You did you looked at it again in spring, but you're coming to us in November. Is there something that happened in the interim that prevented you from coming earlier?
That's a fair question. Most of my kind of correspondence with this is through the engineer. I actually don't have correspondence with the applicant. I don't know if it was regarding a sale of the property, if it was, you know, preliminary site design, anything like that. I know that I was unable to get a survey plan for the ANRAD until the fall. We were trying to get it in before your winter delineation policy, of course. The timing just didn't quite get there. We do feel strongly that the site has a lot of sharp topography on it, with the rivers flowing through it, that it's not a difficult review. Like we've been able to dig soils, you know, pretty well so far, so that's why that waiver is made. We do think that the site is still subject to a fair review. If the peer reviewer, of course, if we go that route and they disagree, then so be it, then we would have to wait. But we did request the waiver to at least get peer review out there to kind of get an opinion on it as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Of course.
Jason?
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with you, Ken. I think because of the site's location and history, it'd be really good to have this done properly, the peer review. Because I would be nervous about things being missed.
Okay.
I'd agree.
Diane?
I do agree, yes.
All right, so it looks like,
So you should make a motion to
so
vote on it.
would somebody like to make a motion on the waiver?
I'll try. I make a motion that we not issue a waiver for, is it peer review of
No,
this,
for
of this
wetland
particular,
delineation,
for wetlands delineation, for these particular properties.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So we'll have to wait for the proper time to
Mhm.
do that.
Understood. I think so. We'll probably keep the application open and continue with the commission until we can get that review proper.
We
All right.
have-
Thank you guys for your
January.
consideration. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we don't have the calendar set for
Yes, so we'll,
March,
we'll
so
continue till
It'll be in the
a
middle.
date certain.
vaguely March of next
Thank
year.
you, thank you for your patience and understanding.
Yes.
Yes, no, understood. It's the commission's decision, so I appreciate your time.
Oh, this one too. Great. We have a new public hearing. Notice is hereby given in accordance with the provisions of General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, that Modish Nest LLC, 38 Appaloosa Drive, Shrewsbury, Mass., has filed a notice of intent for the construction of a single-family home and associated site work at 40 High Street.
Thank you for the record, John Grenier, JM Grenier Associates. This notice of intent application is for 40 High Street, which is a single-family house lot. Right now, I can show you on the existing condition plan. There's a house, existing house located on this portion on the westerly side of the lot that's to be demolished, which is in this location. What they're proposing is a new single-family house located really what's in a portion of where the existing foundation is and where in the existing lawn area. So where we show the tree line, that is about the existing tree line. So everything's within existing lawn area. In terms of managing stormwater, what we are proposing is to sheet flow the driveway runoff into an infiltration trench located on the easterly side of the frontage, and to capture the roof runoff, and that would go into a series of 6 subsurface recharge chambers. We did soil testing on the site. We do have adequate separation to groundwater, and we sized everything appropriately so that we are reducing the rate of runoff, and we're also treating runoff, especially from the paved surfaces. As you can see highlighted in orange, that's where the 100-foot buffer is to the bordering vegetated wetland. So it clips through, a small corner of the back corner of the lot, and the only real work going on is within the buffer zone is just in this small area where we're installing those subsurface recharge chambers to recharge the roof runoff. We have a proposed stone apron for access into and out of, so they're not tracking any mud and silt onto High Street, and there's going to be erosion control really along the perimeter of the limit of work. There's an existing stone wall along the frontage too, so that is another physical barrier to make sure that there's no runoff into High Street as well. So fairly straightforward. If you have any questions or comments, we would love to address them.
Martha?
Where is the existing stone wall?
It's not necessarily, it's not shown, the surveyor didn't, I don't think he showed it on the plan. He didn't show it on the plan, but it's out there. It goes right along the front property line, right along the property line along the whole street.
Okay, and you're planning to work with that? Is that
Yes,
within the
yes, we
boundary?
put obviously a break in the wall for the driveway entrance, but there's no, it wouldn't make sense to get rid of it.
Okay.
It's a nice field stone wall.
All right, I'm all set, thank you.
Jason?
John, maybe I'm missing something. What's the infiltration trench for?
We're sheet flowing,
Okay.
we're sheet flowing the driveway. You can see, Jason, there's like a little V
Yeah,
notched into that.
Yes.
So we're sheet flowing it down and then
catching it there.
and
Okay.
going overland and putting into that infiltration trench.
Great. Thanks, John. I'm all set.
Chris?
It's not for roof runoff as well?
The roof is getting captured and piped to.
To the back one?
To the back.
Okay, gotcha. All right. I'm all set.
Staff?
Did you file for your stormwater permit yet? I didn't see it.
We did,
Okay.
and,
And,
and I was just asking my client, the only comment was, there was a mislabel. Over here, there was one of the contours didn't get cut off, and that should be a 488, so there was a little mislabel on one of the contour lines. And that was the only comment from stormwater.
Okay, anybody in the audience have any?
Diane.
Oh, Diane.
Sorry about that. I'm sorry. So this is me learning things, okay?
I learn things every day.
With the, with the infiltration trench, right? Would you ever consider, instead of rain garden there, have you ever done that?
We have, and this is just my opinion. A lot of times they don't get maintained. They don't get, and it's a maintenance thing. And, you know, it's kind of a nice buzzword, but unless they're maintained and taken care of, I don't, I'd rather get the water back into the ground. Not to say in every case it doesn't work, in some instances, depending on the project, but personally, I don't see people maintaining them and making sure that they're, you know, taken care of and vegetated properly, and it ends up just being not functioning the way it should. So I'll do them occasionally if a commission or board really wants them. We'll go through the, you know, DEP stormwater guidelines and make sure everything's designed properly, but I personally shy away from them.
That's an answer. Thank you very much.
You all set?
We'll have to watch the ones out front over there then.
we gotta finish planting them first.
All right, anybody in the audience have any questions? There are none. All right. I guess we're all set.
Okay.
We don't have a DEP number, so.
Oh, we can't close
No,
it?
we did.
Yes.
Yeah, we did? I just checked.
We got it?
I
Yes, I got.
All right, I
that's
just
it.
checked your website.
I put a call into Mia, and then she didn't pick up, but a half an hour later, I had a file number.
Oh, okay.
So yes, this is 285-1986. They were flying into my email today. I got like 4 or 5.
Okay.
All right, so we can close this. Very good.
Thanks again.
All right, is there anybody here from 195 Gulf Street?
I got a text message from the owner, and he said that they had a conflict, and they weren't able to make it tonight, so he would request a continuation.
All righty. All right, so I guess we're on to discuss and sign orders of conditions. So the first one we have is an ANRAD for 3369 Green Street. Would anybody like to make a motion?
If somebody tells me what to say. Because I'm, with an ANRAD, I'm not
Right.
remembering the protocol.
So you're just basically issuing an order of resource delineation. So
Okay. So I,
we will issue an ORAD to go against the ARAD, so. Order of resource
so I make a motion that we issue an order of resource delineation
Resource area delineation, yep.
for 33 to 69 Green Street.
Print that really quick.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Do we have any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Yeah, I'll run up.
Yeah.
All right, so our next one would be
779 Hartford.
779 Hartford Turnpike, correct?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we issue an order of conditions for 779 Hartford Turnpike.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Not doing any special conditions.
And
And I make a motion that we issue an order of conditions for 40 High Street.
is there a
Yep.
second?
Second.
Discussion?
Run upstairs and get the outlets. I'll be back.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. So next one, next item on the agenda is extensions, permit extensions?
Yes.
Okay.
So our first one is 526 Hartford Turnpike. We signed off on an extension permit a few months ago. It got lost in the mail. So
That's it.
in order to record it at the Registry of Deeds, you need a wet signature. I will be getting a not a notarized, I'm blanking on the word, but it's a fancy copy that the clerk signs off on, and sending that out and maintaining the original for most documents in the future, because we've been having this issue a couple times.
Is there a reason why we don't record online?
I don't know, no. I'll have to look into that, because that might be a nice alternative to
Mm-hmm.
sending,
You can just do it right from
sending
your
them and
office.
losing them. Our second one is for a ORAD, for 274 to 378 Holden Street. I went out and walked the site. When we approved this the first time, it was peer reviewed. This time, they had a surveyor rehang the flags, but they, did not rehang all of them. So the note for a special condition for this will be that not all of the flags approved in the previous ORAD are transferring to the extension. It will just be for the flags that were rehanged. They were consistent throughout the site, though, with the edge of the wetland.
Okay.
Printed forward just for fun.
All right, I grabbed two. The rest will be up there. I'm gonna get that. What's that, High Street?
So you were good with that then, the way it was?
Yes, I was okay with that. And I will add a condition that it was, that it will not be for all of the flags previously. But they are on the exterior of the site, because there's a stream that runs up one side of the site. And so the interior of the stream to the site is mapped, but the exterior side of the stream is not mapped. So that, it's probably 10 feet wide, but it's not gonna continue the line into the site. It would be out of bounds.
So what does that do so when they come in for an order, what does that do with
That was the thing, he didn't know why they didn't rehang the flags, but it wasn't going to affect the notice of intent that was filed, because so if it was on, if,
I have a plan, sorry, I didn't
Oh,
mean
yeah.
to interrupt, but
Yeah.
it might be useful if I have a
yes,
plan.
that would be great.
I'm Rich Kirby from LEC. We met out at the site. So once we got to the site, we realized that the surveyors didn't reestablish all the flags. So we prepared this revised ORAD plan that shows the flags that they did reestablish and that we did review in the field. The flags that were missing were sort of in the top right corner of the other side of this gully. These flags were missing, but there's no work that's going to be proposed over here, so we're okay with the ORAD not extending those flags.
Okay.
So if you want, I don't know if it does, but the ORAD extension could even reference that plan.
Okay. All right, so,
Do you need another
Martha,
override?
did you understand?
No.
Okay.
I understand that some flags were missed, that they're in an area which isn't going to be impacted by construction.
Exactly,
Okay.
Right.
yes.
Are you okay with that?
It was on
Yes.
the exterior of the site, and the extent beyond it was not going to be developed.
Okay. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Thank you.
Next item is certificates of compliance.
So I have two certificates of compliance to recommend you sign tonight. So 51 to 53 Baby Drive is on here in an accident that you guys actually signed off in December of last year, but it had also gotten lost in the mail. So they had inquired about it, and I forgot to take it off the agenda. The next one will be 1901 for 820 Main Street. This is the one that we've gone back and forth a few months. Where they had installed a detention basin, or a detention basin owned by the town is installed at the rear of the property. And the outflow from that was getting, every time they planted grass, it got washed away. So they have planted a conservation mix. The grass is coming in nicely for that. They have also planted 10 buttonbush and 10, I can't remember the common name for it, Ilex vert, I think. was the-
Verticillata, so
Yeah.
Winterberry.
Yes, a winterberry. Sorry. I was looking at the tag on that's still on the plant out there today, and it's just in Latin name. So, yeah, there's 10 winterberry, and the red berries are very beautiful right now. If you're feeling a drive down Main Street.
So 10 buttonbush and 10 winterberry?
Yes.
That's fantastic.
And the grass is finally growing there, so they did get that to grow. It's actually growing in the basin as well as outside of the basin. So I was comfortable signing off on that one.
Okay.
Our second one is for 83 Centec Boulevard.
Let's sign
Oh, that's a parking lot, yeah. My one concern was that the erosion control is still in place on site, and it's kind of like looped through the woods. They do have an ongoing stormwater report that hasn't been closed yet, so with that, I'm going to ask them to have it removed because it also pertains to stormwater. Otherwise, the site it is stabilized, parking is paved, they park there every day, looks like a parking lot, very nice. And that is that one.
it. Okay. Did you need the other two reds?
That one is an extension, so it just gets a regular, like an extension permit for an order of conditions, oddly enough.
Oh, they don't sign it? Okay,
No,
all right, there you go.
yeah.
Learn
I
something new
learned
every day.
that the other day.
Learn something new every
I
day.
missed that at the DEP quiz show.
All right, so, construction updates.
I have no update for 100 and 150 Maple. The basins that are or under construction out front, for the police station is what this project is. The plants that they had originally planned to plant, wow, that's a fun mouthful, were not staying in the bottom of the basin. It's too wet. So, it sounds like when you guys were creating the order of conditions for this, there were questions about where the groundwater was and how it could be built so that it was above the groundwater correctly. I am not sure if it has been built according to that. So, and Andy is also unsure about that. So they are going to submit in the springtime at this point, I think, because a planting plan now makes no difference to anyone. So in the spring, they will submit a revised planting plan and the as-built elevations of the bottom of the basins, so we can have an idea of if it was an engineering problem or a construction issue.
Shouldn't they be looking at those elevations now before they come up with a planting plan? And that way they would know if it was constructed the way we
Yeah, 'cause
requested?
and it's funny, because I watched the update to the municipal committee meeting yesterday, and they had the LA there, so they're still trying to figure out what plants are best, because some plants can survive with wet roots, and, some can't. Because if it's a rain garden, it doesn't have to have the 2 feet of separation, but
I understand, but when we.
We're not
issued-
sure if it's a design issue or a construction issue.
When we issued the order,
Yeah.
I know that we went back and forth with the engineer. There was a lot of discussion
Yeah, because
on it.
groundwater was,
And we set they gave us elevation. So is the basin built to the elevation?
we're still waiting for as-built, so we don't know. Yeah, they're going to give us the as-built at some point to close it out, both with us and with planning. So we will probably have them shoot it in when they come up with a new plan for next year.
Okay,
But the issue was, the contractor was saying that there was too much water in there, they'd have to dewater it to put the plants in. And then the question is, how long do they dewater it to let the plants?
well,
Established.
there shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be
should
groundwater,
Not
yeah.
be standing water there.
Water,
That's
exactly,
what I'm
so-
getting at with the.
And they didn't do a
order.
test pit right in that one, of course, they did one all around it, so. But at this point, we're just gonna put it on hold until next spring, until we figure out, because we wanna make sure, obviously, this is our showcase for rain gardens and BMP, so we wanna make sure it's right.
Yes, that would be good.
Because they did plant the ones, I guess, I was told, behind the police station, the first rainfall, they all just floated away, so we don't want a repeat of that. So, more to
Okay.
come.
All right, and then,
So I'll take that off and put that on, again in the springtime.
Okay.
all right,
Pitcher plants and peat moss.
Yeah.
No. And then strap them down with some, like, fiber netting or something.
Get rid of all the mosquitoes.
Turn it into a bog.
We'll just send them up to Broadmeadow Brook, and they can take a look at that one.
The first time that we constructed the rain gardens at Broadmeadow Brook, the contractor did not install the correct
I
soil
remember,
mix.
yeah, I designed it.
And it ponded.
Yeah.
It ponded,
Didn't put
so
the,
they
uh,
had to redig and replace the soil and
Mhm.
add more sand, and then it's been working fine.
Yeah.
that bioretention mix is important,
It is, yes.
very. Anything else?
Our second construction update is for 20 to 22 Graylock. I don't know if Rashid would like to present upon that, but he did submit a narrative.
22 Graylock?
So this was previously, when it came before the commission, it was known as 37 to 39 Melvin and 42 Sadler Ave. It has since been renamed to 20 and 22 Graylock Avenue.
These are the ones by the Kings Brook.
Yes?
Yes.
Flood zone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, with flood storage.
So what's the issue?
As they were constructed, they ran into a building code issue of the opening at the back that we had proposed, so we had proposed the three-sided, and when it was signed off with the order of conditions, the final plan proposed a three-sided with the rear open so that the flood waters could come in and out freely. When they went before building code, or the building code does not allow that. You need to have two sides of a home open, or you can do the flood vents. Where we're having a disconnect is DEP generally does not allow flood vents because they do not allow water to flow unencumbered at the hydraulic or hydrologic
rate.
at the rate that it would like to go.
Yes, it's kind of funny. So I was at our Concom in Worcester last week in exactly the same scenario. And our commissioner, in his notes, said that DEP does not allow flood vents because they restrict. We basically got to leave the whole wall open. So we basically got to update we suggested that Rashid come here and obviously update the plan. Because right now the plans reference the old design. So we think the order should be updated.
Yes, yeah, I have recommended
But in
an
the interim,
amended
we
order.
Nothing's been built yet, though, right?
Oh, it is built, yes.
Yes.
It is built.
So the home has been built,
Oh.
the rear wall is enclosed with flood vents installed. That differs from the order of conditions issued and the plan associated with the order of conditions issued. So, yes, that was my recommendation.
So he'll have to come to have a hearing, a meeting to reopen?
We think the order needs updating, yeah.
Yeah,
Or we'd say it's
Hi,
the
Rashid.
commission.
Hi, Mr. Chair, may I?
sure.
So, Mr. Chair, we submitted the as-built and the compensatory storage calcs and the flood.
Just make sure you stay in front of the mic, Rashid, because I know, having watched someone on your line, you can't hear anybody.
Sorry, I don't know if you received, we submitted 5 copies of the as-built and the compensatory storage, as well as some flood vent design and stuff. I have 1 copy, but I'm sure you have your copies.
It should be on Google.
Yeah, I don't need them. So it really comes down to the flood vents, but they're not allowed under DEP, so you're basically gonna have to leave that open, with nothing in front of it.
So basically what, they're saying is we need to come back and have a meeting to,
We should amend, because right now the order conditions reference different set of plans.
we'll have to come back and have a meeting to amend the order to reflect the new plans.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I just want to just take a couple of minutes of your important time and just kind of state where we are and why we did what we did. So basically, the original design, I'm talking about the architectural design, not the side design. The side design hasn't changed. So we basically, there was no specific mention of wall or no wall in the order of condition. It only said that we have to build the building according to the order of condition, in which we believe we did build to the order of condition.
Again, as we point out, it also references the approved plans, and the approved plans say flood vents were removed.
Okay.
So-
But we had an open wall on one side, and when we went to the building department, and they also went through some training, they realized that we basically need to have, at minimum 2 sides opening, and then we also hired the SmartVent company, and we talked to the architect and the engineer. So the building code clearly specify what kind of vents it should be, and how they should be located, and how they should be sized. There are codes in the building code, and that really is in the building code, not in the DEP code. So we follow the building code, and we updated it's just like we originally had, like opening in the back, and there we had to actually put big doors, and we put windows, and then under the windows we put the flood vents. And these vents are pretty expensive. These are engineered vents. They are not like Home Depot small, holes. They are called engineered vents. So they basically help even the insulation and the energy conservation and all that. And we, instead of putting in 2 walls, we put in 3 walls. I mean, the thing is, yeah, we can leave the opening, but that would be violating the building code, because building code talk about specifically, it's not in the DEP code, it's in the building code, that how you design them, how you calculate them, and how you do that. So we hired people to do that.
So just to get back to, I understand you constructed to the building code, but when you came in here and we gave you an order of conditions, it specifically said to do certain things. And once you change that, you should have come back to the commission to ask for the change. So that's what you still need to do. You haven't done that. You shouldn't have made the change until you came back to amend the order. We had many meetings on this, Rashid. You understood how important it was that we left that open in case it flooded. And we had those discussions about the floodgates. We had all those discussions many times. And then you finally came back and you said you would leave it open.
Yes, sir, but it was opening only on one side, not on 3 sides. It was opening on one side.
You should have come back to us. So I think, and I can't speak for the entire board, but you should at least come back and present exactly what you did.
Sir, with all due respect, though, this discussion entails to the building code, not to the DEP code. So basically, just like if I want to change a window in the house, I don't come to the Conservation Commission, sir. I go to the building department. So this is, and nowhere in the order of conditions says that I have to, build the wall and not build the wall. Yes, in our plan it says we remove the vents, because that discussion honestly shouldn't have been in this board. That discussion entails to the building, because it's in the building code. So if I do amend the order, what do I ask for? Because it really is in the building code, and we had a meeting with the building inspectors right there at the site, and the town engineer and Conservation Commission agent there, and they both agreed that they actually, agree with the system. And moreover, sir, if I would have left the opening like that, the neighbors were all very upset that it's a safety issue, and then also the building inspector was also concerned about the energy conservation, the heating issue, the mold issue, all those other issues. That's the reason I hired this company, sir, who actually do engineered design for these vents, and they are allowed in the building code very clearly. So I'm not sure that how we need to amend this, sir.
Well, if I may, I think there are times when the building code may differ from the Conservation Commission,
Yes,
right? I think there's going to be times when those two are working opposite directions.
Yes, sir.
So,
But it's not in the DEP code, sir. If we would have that discussion,
So we talked to DEP, so the regulations says unrestricted flow in and out of the flood storage, because you're using the basement for flood storage. It has to be unrestricted. DEP says flood vents are a restriction, so they don't allow them. You've literally got to leave a hole.
the engineered, so if you want me to leave,
I mean, we have the letter from Mia, from DEP.
okay, so you want me to leave the holes, I can leave the holes.
Yeah, that's the only option you got.
So I can leave the holes open if that's what you like.
I
think you need to come back.
I
I
still
still
think
think you have to come back.
you need to come back. You need to come back, and you need to ask to amend the order. We need to open it and have a hearing to discuss it, in case anybody in the neighborhood or whoever wants to be heard. You need to come back.
Okay, sir. That's what you want me to do. And I will also talk to DEP because we didn't see this in the DEP code at all.
Well, DEP did comment,
Yeah, when they issued the DEP file number, they noted.
they made a comment about
Flood
flood.
vents are generally not allowed by them,
Okay,
because they don't allow
okay. So
unencumbered flow.
we'll,
Well, because we were doing open walls, it was moot. We didn't really follow up on it.
That's,
Mm-hmm.
we,
All right.
everything, it's
Right.
a big change, Rashid, because everything was supposed to be open. And I understand if the building code said something, you should have just came back to us and explained what the issue was, instead of constructing it the way you did.
Sir,
That's all.
our understanding was, I apologize if this is how you feel, sir, but our understanding was that if I have to change the window, because that's exactly what we did, we changed the window locations, and if we have to change the window, I don't come to Conservation Commission, I go to the building.
But this was with.
This was a wall. This wasn't a window. This was a whole wall missing, and you put a wall there, right?
Yes, sir, we put the openings there, but then we didn't have the opening on the other two sides, which we created. Because if you only put on one side, sir, it does not meet the building code. You have to have an unrestricted flow, you gotta go from all directions. And we created now with all directions. So it's a freer flow now. I can understand you saying restricted, unrestricted, because they are engineered vents. The moment they see any pressure, they open. They are not dumb vents like which you have to hand open. They are engineered vents, sir, and they're expensive.
That's
I get
what-
that.
But that's not what was approved.
Sir,
You need-
again,
you need to
this
come- you need to
this
just
is
come
a
back.
building code issue. It's not really the Conservation Commission issue. But that's fine if you want me to
You
come back.
with your consultant and everybody, and you explain what was approved and what wasn't, and what you did, and then the commission will make their decision.
Okay, sir.
Is that
Okay.
okay?
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Okay.
I apologize, we also had a 6:03, I don't know if it was late.
Yes, I had already posted the agenda at that time, I'm sorry.
Anything else?
Yes, always more.
Feedback survey.
Always more for you, Kenny.
Doing pretty good.
So, we currently have no meeting scheduled for next year. I
It's gonna
have,
be a great year.
huh?
It's gonna be a great year.
We're ahead of
Well,
schedule.
we're gonna have a lot. We
Oh,
didn't
okay,
finish- we didn't finish anything this time.
Wait, oh, these are,
Oh,
We looked at a few options.
That drove me nuts.
oh,
goodness gracious.
No, you didn't.
we get the vote?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my
So in
God.
front of you, we have three different schedule options. The top sheet is the current schedule that we meet on, the third Tuesday of every month.
Yeah.
The second sheet is the third Tuesday. Currently, when we meet, occasionally we will have spaces, as you may have noticed over the course of the year, where it felt very long between the meetings, and it was like 35 days between meetings. Typically, I issue a waiver for, once an application has been submitted, it's supposed to be heard within 21 days. So a lot of the times they'll issue, or I will issue, they'll receive a waiver and sign it. And that allows them to be heard after the 21st day. With the second option, we would be meeting close to, there's a few instances where there's 28 days between meetings, but there's generally 21 days between them. So we would actually be meeting more frequently, obviously. The third one is just every 3 weeks. The blue dates are dates that another board is meeting, generally the select board, because we usually get booted for them. And then the red dates are dates that fall very, very, very close to holidays. So the likelihood of one or several of us not showing up might be a little bit higher.
Well, my take on it is I like the way we meet now.
Yeah, only comment I have, and I haven't been on the board nearly as long as a few others have, but was there an increased activity in the last few months because of the pending changes to the bylaws? 'Cause it seemed like there was more activity.
There were a
than
few
usual.
people trying to get it in. I mean, the issue is, for most cases, people sign the waiver, but in theory, they don't have to. They could just go straight to DEP and get a superseded order condition if you don't hear it within 21 days. So we're just
How many times has that happened?
never.
I don't think it's ever happened in 25 years
I-
I've been here.
You can see some projects coming them, especially with the bylaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Where they just don't want to.
Well, I'm not sure how with the bylaw it works. I still have to check with town council, but, so yeah, we can just keep it the same schedule. It's just sometimes we get a little close to that 21-day.
So if they go to DEP and get a superseding order of conditions, they can bypass?
Yes, because you didn't
the
act in
bylaw?
time, so they can go to DEP and say that the commission didn't act in time. Can you issue a superseding order of conditions? But say it's never happened, but
I
Can
see.
you have them waive when they file the application?
yeah.
Yes, but sometimes they just get mailed in, or I'll send an email being like, hey, fill out this waiver, and they do not.
I see.
They just don't, so. I can track them down the day of the meeting, but by then, the 21 days have passed, and it feels.
Right, I'm just thinking when they actually
Funky.
file.
Typically, we do, yeah. We usually, if it comes in and we know it's like, because obviously most people right up against the deadline,
Right.
Yeah.
but some people have got their ducks in a row. And
File
some people
beforehand.
file, the Monday after, in theory.
Sure.
There's
Where
nothing
people
stop-
just don't know the deadline and just file whenever.
I don't think we need an answer.
But yeah, a lot of sometimes the applications get mailed to me, so I never interact with the human until we get to the hearing. That's the only problem.
So in this one.
I like meeting once a month. I mean, I don't know.
I say, we've never run into it,
Just
but
3 additional meetings.
Yeah, I'm,
Whole, so.
Martha and Diane, your thoughts?
It looks like it's 3 extra meetings per year, one in January, one in April, and one in October, is that right?
It's generally, unfortunately, it's 4 or
July.
5
Yeah.
additional meetings per year. I went through the next couple of years and figured out how many
Oh, so
additional.
this is just next year.
This is just next year, yeah. But it is never more or less than 4 or 5 additional meetings per year.
I am uncomfortable with the idea of getting booted out because of another meeting, so I would like to reject number 3.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree with that.
That was just, if we wanted to meet every 21 days, but then I looked at it and I was like, this is horrendous, so you are welcome to boot that out. That was just a bad example, to
Rejected.
show you to the good examples.
You know,
give it the honey first. And
I'm okay with, I'm actually okay with the additional meetings. Yeah,
I can't do any more meetings than I do now, so that would be a big issue for me.
okay.
I agree with Martha. I'm okay with the additional meetings, but I don't see the problem yet. I don't see that we're fixing a problem that hasn't been.
True.
So I'd
Yeah.
prefer to stick to the 12 meetings.
I mean, the history that I've been doing it, it's never come, in fact, we never used to ask for waivers, so, a couple of years ago, so.
But we also haven't had a bylaw.
And we haven't had the bylaw, and I've got to check with town council,
Sure.
maybe the bylaw trumps it anyway, so it may be moot, but.
If you would do
Yeah.
that would be much appreciated. But I would also vote for continuing with the existing schedule, trying it out for a year
till
and see
January?
what happens.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
We have a plan for what happens when
Yeah, and I
when we
think,
need to change it. We've got to.
Yes,
and I think the current agenda is approved through January, so
yes.
it's not like we have to.
Yeah, so the next meeting would be January
We'd have to decide.
17th, I think.
16th.
16th, that's
sorry,
when we have to
yes.
approve the next, if we are going to change it, so it's just food for thought right now.
Yeah, I'm good with the 12 meetings.
Okay.
Anything else?
One last thing.
Feedback survey?
You have a commissioner feedback survey in front of you. One of you may have filled it out already. A couple of you may have filled it out already and left it on your desks.
Good.
You're welcome to just sit here and take in the silence for the next couple of minutes if you don't want to fill it out. You're also welcome to take it home, but this is officially my year as the Shrewsbury Conservation Agent.
Well, congratulations.
So,
So you'll start seeing less.
today, last year I started, so.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Happy anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yeah, time flies, yes. Yeah, so she's doing an awesome job, so I don't really need to be here anymore unless it's something that requires my presence, but.
We have a motion to.
If we have more meetings, though, you have to come.
Absolutely. I enjoy it. I mean, it's certainly not an issue for me, so.
So these are, they're edible sparkles.
Fancy
Whatever bubble you prefer. I like to put them in seltzer.
Oh, that's cool.
Or put them in your mashed potatoes. I can't remember if they're
Are they butter
flavored, but
flavored?
They are.
Thank you.
Thanksgiving?
They are just a little something sparkling
Very
too.
nice.
They're for 2 to 3 drinks if you put them in drinks, or you can have a really sparkly drink. But they're very fun.
That's fun.
They're not far, everybody. All right, that's it.
What
Oh,
are they
thank you.
made of?
Iridescent.
They're just sugar.
I
Those
know.
questions you don't want answers to?
Well, they're edible.
There's a website.
Well, when you said edible, I started freaking.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it
Do we have,
Wow.
anybody want to make a
I
motion?
have had them before, and I have not died yet. That is
Commissioner, I
not
make a
saying much.
motion that we adjourn.
I put a
We
lot
have
of
a
bad
motion
stuff
to
in my
adjourn.
body.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.